Today we're going to look at Chapter 7, Section 2, Preventing Conflicts, okay? Here's the big thing with this is we're going to look at where do conflicts start and kind of where do they go and what causes them, shall we say, to get worse, all right? All right, first thing we're going to ask yourself is why do conflicts build, okay? They build because things, what we're going to say, we're going to use the word escalate. And escalate just means become more serious. Anything we've ever done, we know things can escalate. You've been in an argument, one thing said, next thing said, next thing you know, as the saying goes, a mountain is made out of a molehill. This happens quite often in day-to-day life, but we need to be aware of it so that sometimes we can, shall we say, detour it or cut it off before it becomes that mountain. So we have to be aware of the signs that escalation is starting to happen, and some of those signs are anger, jealousy, group pressure, and if there's the use of drugs or alcohol in the situation. All four of these are very good signs that things are getting maybe a little bit too hot and maybe things need to be held off on until a decision can be made. Anger is normal. It's normal to be angry. We all know this part. Being angry is just day-to-day life. We're all going to get angry about things. It's how we handle it, all right? And it's how we control that anger. Anger can be done in a number of different ways. People can get angry and not say a thing. Other people get angry and have to throw temper tantrums. It's all about how you control it. The biggest thing is when you get angry, you need to make sure you're focusing on the problem, not the person that it may involve. That's the way to even it out. Make sure that your focus is on the right area, not the wrong. Okay, jealousy. This is the one that probably can, I think, between anger and jealousy, these are two of the more dangerous ones. Jealousy is nothing more than feeling being slighted or overlooked. Pardon my spelling is slighted there. And in a way, it's just basically you feel like you're being wrong. This means that you're putting a lot of time and effort in. You feel like someone else is getting the credit for it, or that you're putting time and effort in, and that it's just bypassing you, and someone else or something else is getting more attention than you feel it should. It's normal to feel jealous. Once again, it's going to happen in our lifetimes. However, it's kind of like anything else. Is how we handle it. And the biggest thing is when jealousy kind of factors into things, people often want to seek revenge, okay? And revenge by definition is punishment, injury, or insult to the person seen as the cause of the strong emotion. Revenge is a very dangerous factor in day-to-day life of people. It is also probably the biggest cause of a lot of escalation. And when there's escalation with jealousy, it often means that you or someone else will get hurt. I will dare to say a lot of cases involving murder and things of that nature are very violent crimes. I'm not going to put a number on it, but there's probably the majority of them involve some sort of jealousy. And jealousy and anger seem to go hand in hand in these situations. Then we go to group pressure. Group pressure often leads to what we call a mob mentality. Mob mentality is acting and behaving in a certain and often negative manner because others are doing it. This is basically where people often lose their heads. Even in sporting events, this is where I think sometimes one parent yells and all the other parents think it's their right to join and then yell at a referee, whatever, coach, player, whatever it may be. And that's not good. All right. It usually has a very bad outcome. This is where, you can go back to the 16, 17, 1800s and the mob showed up, think of the Deep South and civil rights and some of the negative things that came out of that, different racial tensions. It can also just even be something as simple as a mob mentality with how politics are ran locally. I mean, one person starts speaking out and everyone else starts thinking it's their right to speak out. And it's not always it doesn't usually have a positive end. I put this on here just because maybe it's the social studies teacher in me, but the mob mentality showed up in the French Revolution. Well, the French Revolution, its original meaning was very positive and very, so we say, somewhat noble. It got carried away. And what I mean by carried away is that the guillotine, those that don't know, that's the thing that kind of cuts people's heads off. They started being used for a lot of people that were just accused of doing things. Never proven, just accused. But the mob mentality is that, well, if you're not for us, you're against us. And if you're against us, you need to die. And it actually ended up killing a lot of innocent people during the French Revolution. And that's why I put that on there, is that it is part of group pressure and the mob mentality.
Mr. Nelson?
Yes.
All right. So then we also have alcohol and drugs are a factor. A large majority of violent crimes of teens are committed under the influence of alcohol or drugs. We, as a society, seem to use these to a lot of times get through these situations. The biggest thing to do is to make sure you avoid these, to keep a calm head, make sure that alcohol or drugs do not affect your thinking. Last thing we're going to talk about is preventing conflicts from building. We need to learn to understand our feelings. We need to learn to make sure that our feelings are kept under control, that we don't get too high or too low, so that we can keep things moving in a positive direction. We need to keep conflicts private. We do not need them to be public knowledge. We need to make sure that it stays as small as it can. Is like anything else, mob mentality shows up, more people show up, and now we have a problem. We already talked about this. Avoid using alcohol and drugs. Show respect for yourself and others when you're in a conflict. You may feel you are right, but so does the other person. So obviously, you both not being respectful of each other at that point in time will create a bigger conflict. Learn to accept others as they are. Do not expect people to change. If it's an opinion-based, and I think of this when I come back to, like, we talked about politics and religion, people have their opinions. You're not going to change them. And then the other thing, the last thing you want to try to do is put yourself in another person's shoes. You don't know what they've been through. You maybe need to get a different perspective on the situation to get a better understanding of what's going on. All right. Make sure you read this section, and we'll have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.